Alright, today I'm going to show you a recipe I like to follow for making crepes. So all you're going to need is some all-purpose flour, some baking powder, salt, sugar, vanilla, butter, eggs, and milk. Okay, so let's get started. Okay, first ingredient, flour. I need 1.5 cups. Put that in our bowl. Alright, next we need 1 tablespoon of sugar. I'm trying to use up these sugar packets that I have. Okay, we'll call that good enough. Okay, it's now in our bowl with the flour. Next we need a 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder. Put that into the mix with the flour and the sugar. Next up, salt. So let's get a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Okay, and now we throw that into the same bowl. Okay, next up we want 2 cups of milk. And we're just gonna pour that right in. Okay, next we're gonna beat the ingredients together. I'm just gonna use a fork for simplicity's sake. The point is to get the chunks out. Doesn't have to be perfect yet. We still have a few more ingredients to add. Next, we need 2 tablespoons of melted butter. So I've started preheating a pan on the stove. And I'm gonna eyeball this. And I'm gonna throw this butter onto the stove. Let that melt. And then we will pour the liquid contents into our pan. So we'll go to the next step, which is the eggs. Got 2 eggs. You can give your eggs a little pre-start. We are ready for our vanilla. Okay, so got some vanilla extract here, and we're gonna use a 1/2 teaspoon. Now let's pour in the butter, and then we'll give it another mix. Okay, so here's our 2 tablespoons of butter. It's melted. Let's get as much of that into this bowl as we can. Use a spatula. Get that in there. And the good news is, if you do it the way I did on the stovetop in your pan, then your pan is already oiled and ready. Okay, so now your mix will take shape now and start to smell good with the vanilla. You want it to be nice and creamy. Okay, so that's it. Okay, now make sure, when you start, you can preheat the stove. So I'm gonna put mine at about 7. Okay. But yeah, oil your pan. I've still got the butter remnants in here. Just gonna kind of spread it around lightly. I don't want there to be too much. I don't want it to be burning or anything. But yeah, make sure the pan's nice and warm, and then we should be ready to start our first crepe. We are ready to start. I'm gonna use this ladle, soup ladle. Gonna want to kind of figure out the right amounts of mix, but I found that this is a good amount. So a little too much, maybe on that first one, but it's all right. The first one's always kind of a gimme. You never quite get it perfect, but you kind of dial it in from there. So probably cook about 1 minute and on the first side before we'll flip it over, and then we'll cook the other side for about 1 minute as well. At the end of the day, you want a kind of nice light golden brown. Definitely don't want to burn them. So I'm gonna get a plate ready, and I'm gonna go grab the powdered sugar, because that is my favorite topping. All right, this one's just about ready. It smells fantastic. You can smell the hint of vanilla. So let's flip it. See? Pan's not quite totally up to speed or up to heat yet. So normally you'd get them a little bit more golden than that, but you'll see it on the next one. Okay, our first crepe is done. Let's take a look at that other side. Yeah, it's good. Let's throw it on a plate. So I love to use confectioner's sugar, aka powdered sugar. And then I roll them up. Roll them. Be careful, they're probably hot. So that is a crepe. All right, let's pour our next one. Yeah, I gotta tone it down. Still put a little too much mix in there, but we'll get it right on the third one. Okay, let's flip it. All right, so that's the maximum. You don't want it any more cooked than that. I was distracted, taking a conference call. Don't let that happen to you. But that's still a good one. It won't be burnt. It's just shy. All right, ready for a flip. Good. Okay, we'll let that cook for 1 minute. while we eat this other one.